Former Liverpool defender Jamie Carragher believes Lenny Yoro has the right physique to be a centre-back, unlike his Manchester United teammate Lisandro Martinez. Previously speaking on the Stick to Football podcast, Carragher expressed that if he was in charge of United's recruitment, he would have never signed Martinez due to his build. I said this when Manchester United signed him, but I did worry about Lisandro Martinez for his height. He explained Marcus Rashford still has a future at Manchester United despite expressing a desire to leave the club, says Ruben Amorim. It's been a difficult 18 months for Rashford, who has struggled for form. And there had been rumblings that United were preparing to sell him before he was left out of the squad for last weekend's Manchester derby by Amorim. If I was a manager, I would never buy a defender that small. And the reason being, it's not just him. I like him as a player. And he's got great spirit, he's brilliant on the ball, he's aggressive. But the way the game's now, because fullbacks are almost like wingers, there's not that many big players in your team, so your fullbacks aren't the biggest anymore. I always think for set pieces, your centre-backs sometimes, and even your striker now. How many teams play with a massive player up front? It doesn't really happen as much. Your two centre-backs have got to be, just for set pieces, 6 feet 3 inches, 6 feet 4 inches. So at least you've got those two pillars. Ahead of Yoro's debut in the Carabao Cup, Carragher waxed lyrical about the Frenchman's height. He told Sky Sports, "I'm really looking forward to seeing him. He has had bits and pieces with the new manager so far. When he signed, it was almost like Manchester United were doing something different. It wasn't like signing Raphael Varane or Casemiro from Real Madrid, where they have had their best days. This lad's best days are in front of him. You look at the size and the physique of him, he looks the part before we have seen him play. He looks like a centre-back. He looks like he has got that stature and presence. He is in a back three. He wasn't bought originally to play in that system. When you play a back three, no centre-back wants to be drawn into those wide areas, but when you look at those long legs, you think he may be able to deal with it." Marcus Rashford still has a future at Manchester United despite expressing a desire to leave the club, says Ruben Amorim. It's been a difficult 18 months for Rashford, who has struggled for form, and there had been rumblings that United were preparing to sell him before he was left out of the squad for last weekend's Manchester derby by Amorim. The 27-year-old would go on to admit in an interview earlier this week that he was ready for a new challenge, casting serious doubt on his future at Old Trafford. But Amorim has since stressed that he would like the forward to stay, even though he was once again absent from United's squad on Thursday, where they were eliminated from the Carabao Cup by Tottenham speaking. After the dramatic 4-3 defeat, Amorim was asked if a parting of the ways was best for both the and club and Rashford. But he certainly didn't give the impression that he wanted to cash in on United's homegrown star. He told Sky Sports tomorrow we have training. He will be there preparing for next game. He is a United player. Everyone has a future at Man United. The Portuguese coach expressed similar sentiments in the build-up to Thursday night's match. As well as admitting Rashford should probably have spoken to him privately about his desire for a new challenge, he reinforced that the club still believed in him. "Nothing has changed. We believe in Marcus," said Amorim. "It's hard to explain to you guys what I'm going to do. I'm a little bit emotional, so in the moment I will decide what to do. It's a hard situation to comment on. If I give a lot of importance, it will have big headlines in the papers, and if I say it's not a problem, then my standards are getting low." He added, "I don't talk about the future, we talk about the present. This kind of club needs big talent, and he's a big talent, so he just needs to perform at the highest level, and that is my focus. I just want to help Marcus." Problems are mounting for Ruben Amorim amid news that 3 of his Manchester United stars are unhappy. He looks to be steadying United's wobbling ship, having recently masterminded a win over Manchester City. But the fallout from that game has hit the squad hard. Marcus Rashford, who was left out entirely at the weekend, announced an intention to leave the club following the snub, claiming he wanted a new challenge. Amorim also confirmed that Alejandro Garnacho, who, like Rashford, was left at home for the City game, was a little bit upset with how he'd been treated, and that Mason Mount was really sad. Mount has struggled with injuries since joining United, having been limited to just 9 Premier League starts since his blockbuster move from Chelsea in 2023. The midfielder fought back tears as he limped off after just 14 minutes at the Etihad Stadium on Sunday with an apparent muscle injury. leaving him inconsolable in the dressing room. While Garnacho and Rashford are unhappy about being snubbed for the win at City, Mount is more upset about his personal situation. "He's really sad," Amorim said. "In the dressing room, he was really sad, so we need to help him. When player is in this moment with a lot of injuries and with this schedule, it's really hard for them. We will try to find a better way to recover these kind of guys like Mount and Luke Shaw, because after a few weeks and a few months they will be ready to cope with a lot of things." Mount has missed 30 games through injury since the start of last season and has only completed 90 minutes once in a United shirt. According to Amorim, Mount saw a specialist on Wednesday in an attempt to get to the bottom of his recurring injury woes, which are threatening to derail his Old Trafford career. When asked if the 2021 Champions League winner was facing a lengthy layoff, Amorim replied, "Not at the moment, but we will know more or less how serious it is today." Previously, Amorim said he was impressed with Mount's work ethic and determination to overcome his injury troubles, though stressed the importance of him staying fit. "The first thing is that he is working really hard," the Portuguese coach said of Mount before United's 4-0 win over Everton. "And then you have to understand the human also. He wants this really badly. That is the most important thing. He has proven to all of you that he is a talented player. He was European champion, so we believe a lot in him. He has to stay fit. And like all the guys in the team, they are quality players. They have to improve and believe in themselves." Mount's absence, coupled with the possibility of Rashford's departure next month, could leave Amorim a little light in attacking areas. The former Sporting CP manager claims he wants Rashford to stay and says he will offer him and Garnacho the chance to work their way back into the starting seat. Garnacho is expected to return to the fold for United's Carabao Cup quarter-final clash with Tottenham this evening, December 19th. Rashford, who was sent home from training on Monday, isn't expected to take part, however. Reacting to Rashford's new challenge remark, Amorim said he understood the player's frustration, but insisted he'd have preferred it if the forward had spoken to him before going public. "If this was me, probably I would speak with the manager," he said. "It's hard to explain to you guys what I am going to do when I speak to him. I am a little bit emotional as a person, so in the moment I will understand what to do. I am preparing the game, and then we will see. Let's focus on the team, not individual players. That's it. It's a hard situation to comment on. If I give a lot of importance, it will have big headlines in the newspaper. If I say it's not a problem, then my standards are getting low. So, I will deal with that. I understand that. My focus is not to take the attention from the game, from the team, what we did in the last game, and put on Marcus. What I'm saying is that the team is more important than the individual. We will assess at the right time. Let's focus on the game." That's all he added. "We are better with Marcus Rashford. That is simple, and we will try different things to push Marcus to the best levels he showed in the past. This kind of club needs big talent, and he's a big talent, so he just needs to perform at the highest level. I just want to help Marcus." Rashford claims he has no issue with Amorim and simply wants to try something new after 9 seasons in United's first team. "For me, personally, I think I'm ready for a new challenge. And the next steps," he told journalist Henry Winter on Tuesday. "When I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. You're not going to have any negative comments from me about Manchester United. That's me as a person. If I know that a situation is already bad, I'm not going to make it worse. I've seen how other players have left in the past, and I don't want to be that person." Alejandro Garnacho has been recalled to the Manchester United squad for their League Cup quarter-final against Tottenham on Thursday night, but Marcus Rashford was absent as the squad departed Manchester. Garnacho and Rashford were omitted from the matchday squad for the Premier League victory against Manchester City on Sunday and were ordered to train at the club's Carrington training complex on the morning of the game. Garnacho, 20, wore a snood pulled over his mouth and a black beanie hat when he rendezvoused with teammates for the journey to London on Wednesday afternoon. However, Rashford was unaccounted for when the United players gathered at the airport car park and then Stockport station. Rashford outlined his wish to leave United in an interview on Tuesday, having reported unwell for training on Monday. United players were given Tuesday off by head coach Ruben Amorim. The club have been asked for comment on Rashford's fitness. Amorim clarified after the City match that Garnacho and Rashford would be in contention to return to the squad against Spurs. "We have one more training," Amorim said on Wednesday morning, "but it's the same situation of all the other players. If they train well, then I have to make a choice. We will see at the end of training. Of course, I expect a reaction. I expect the best of each player every day, so we will see after training." After United beat City, Amorim addressed the absences of Rashford and Garnacho. "It is important to say why. It was not a disciplinary thing. Next week, next game, new life, they are fighting for their places. But for me, it is important the performance in training, the performance in games, the way you dress, the way you eat, the way you engage with your teammates, the way you push your teammates. Everything's important in our context in the beginning of something, when we want to change a lot of things. When people in our club are losing their jobs, we have to put the standards really high. For that, they have to fight for their place in the team. And today, the team, we proved we can leave anyone outside the squad and manage to win if you play together. I'm going to say, again, it was not a disciplinary thing. It's the small details. You can see the games like I see, there are some things that have to change. But it is a new life, it's not a disciplinary thing. It's the performance in training, the performance in game, and then I have to change, to choose players. If it was disciplinary, I would say that here, and it will be a bigger problem, but it was not that. It was just that I want to improve my players, and you understand that for so long, for example with Rash, we tried a thing, and it doesn't work. Let's continue to do the same thing, or try something different. So it's as simple as that. If they train well with the talent they have, we will be so much better with them. Both of them. But they have to work hard, they do. Today they trained really hard, so it's a good thing. New week, new life, let's see the next one. Noussair Mazraoui has recovered from a knock he sustained against City to be available for selection. Confirmed United squad members Onana, Bayindir, Heaton, Dalot, Mazraoui, Yoro, Dalot, Maguire, Lindelof, Evans, Martinez, Malacia, Ugarte, Casemiro, Fernandes, Eriksen, Mainoo, Antony, Garnacho, Xerxes, Højlund, Ahmad,